Morning.
Oh, hey Tom, what's up?
You still coming to the cookout? Well,
Oh, are you having a cookout?
the last one before the snow flies.
Oh, yeah, you know what? That sounds good.
Oh, yeah. The wife's making pasta to go with the steak, so, leave a little extra room in your gut.
Steak? Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. I haven't had steak in, I don't remember how long it's been.
Yeah, we're having a cookout tonight before the snow falls. Well, you're all invited, of course.
Hey Tom, are you sure you want to invite more people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you know what? You're right. It's your thing. Who am I to complain as long as there's enough steak to go around? Oh, hey, what's up, CD?
Miles' family has invited moi for steak dinner.
Son of a bitch, even more people? There better be enough steak for me, that's all I'm saying. Alright, well, I'll see you there, I guess.
Goodness knows I sure made enough to feed an army.
Oh man, I am starving. I didn't eat all day to save room for this steak. Like I said, it's been a while. I'll get this situated here. Hey, Tom, what the hell is this? Where's the steak? So let me get this straight. You invited me over here, got me all excited about steaks, which I haven't had in forever, and then you're gonna try to feed me fried chicken? You know what? The hell with this? I guess I'll just go share some cheese puffs with Jared over there. Jesus Christ. Yeah, fine, I guess I'll just starve then. God damn it, fried chicken. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to VHS on Tape. My name is Keith, and on this channel I do movie reviews for horror movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, because I think that's when the best horror movies came out. So I realized something recently. You know how there are those movies that you can watch pretty much any time that they're on? I have a few, you know, Roadhouse, Karate Kid, Commando, but there's not many nearing the 3-hour mark, because I mean, that's a pretty long movie. But Scarface is one of those movies. I mean, I can watch that literally any time. It's that good. The music, the acting, I mean, the cinematography, it's just amazing. And I know right now you're probably asking, yeah, Keith, I mean, Scarface is amazingly good, and you have fantastic taste in movies. Also, I mean, you have an incredible smile, but what does that have to do with today's movie? Well, thank you. And I'll tell you, nothing. Nothing at all. Also, recently somebody pointed out to me that the channel name on the intro isn't lined up well. I think they said something about not being straight or something to that effect. So I fixed it for today's review. So thank you for pointing that out, and hopefully it's better for you now. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at a movie that about, I don't know, 98% of us won't like and possibly even hate, myself included, and that movie is Skinned Alive. So the plot to this one is that a family of crazies makes and sells leather goods, but they aren't using animal skin. It came out in February of 1990 and runs for 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is way too fucking long. It was directed by John Killo, and shockingly, this is his only directing credit. It was produced by the Suburban Tempe Company. They're the crew that brought us some great gems including Robot Ninja, Chick Boxer, and Zombie Cop. Subsequently, their team has won 14 Oscars. The estimated budget for this was about $18,500, or another way to put it for this movie is, it's a low-budget piece of shit. What? Well, you know what, Trent? I do know that I'm trying to lead their opinion before we even get started here. For those of you new here, that's Trent, my director. He likes to point out when I'm trying to lead your opinion about a movie before we even get it started, even though nobody asked him to. Well, I doubt anybody cares about this, but let's get into the movie that is Skinned Alive. We start off by seeing this hitchhiker played by the director for almost 4 minutes as he walks along, tries to get a ride, and camps super safely. Yeah, that's it, buddy. Build your fire on grass and go to sleep without putting out the flames. Jesus Christ, Smokey the Bear is turning over in his grave. Then this van pulls over and it reads, Crawl Daddy's Traveling Tannery. Good start, good start. But it turns out she doesn't want to give him a ride. Then this shit happens. And this guy's sunglasses reminds us what decade this was shot in. Oh, and I should mention that this movie does have a bit of gore in it. See, oftentimes with these ultra low budget movies, they put in over the top gore. I mean, I think it's kind of a way to compensate for lack of production quality. Either way, I will be showing it, so you've been warned. Now, if gore isn't your thing, you can go ahead and go get a snack or maybe take a nap or something, but keep this playing because I'm not going to tell you to stop watching this. I'm trying to get those views, son. Okay, so now we know what kind of quality we're dealing with. After credits that go on way too long, 2.5 minutes, we meet Paul, played by Floyd Ewing Jr. His 2 other credits include other works from Suburban Tempe Company, Robot Ninja, and The Dead Next Door. Then we meet his neighbor, Tom, played by Lester Clark. His other film is The Dead Next Door. Kind of starting to see a theme here. Tom invites Paul over for a cookout later. Also, not for nothing, but I'm pretty sure my dad would probably really like his shirt. Oh, and Paul is an alcoholic, presumably because he's getting a divorce, and I do think this part is pretty funny. Then we see this guy's car break down and the tannery shows up to help him. But after he offers them Wayne Newton tickets...
I hate Wayne Newton.
Oh, well, sorry.
Hate him with a passion.
They decide that they want to play with him instead. One thing good about this movie is that it doesn't try to take itself too seriously. It knows what it is and it has some fun with it. They chase him for a good long while before they catch up to him here, where he puts up a pretty good fight against both of them, but as he's running away, he gets machete speared from behind. Alright, well, I guess now's a good time to meet the family. Here's Crawl Daddy. Yeah, Crawl Daddy. She's played by Mary Jackson. I wonder if she was in Robot Ninja 2. Oh, dang, she has 106 acting credits on her IMDb. Wow, she was in 67 episodes of The Waltons. Well, I know as an actor, if you're working, it's a good thing, but her being in this movie makes me kind of sad. Kind of makes me think of Bertha from Poor Pretty Eddie. At least a little bit. Also, let's all appreciate the character voice she uses.
I should have plugged myself for spitting you 2 walking abortions out of my womb.
Anyways, along with her are her kids, Violet, played by Susan Rathaker. Oh cool, she was also in Robot Ninja. And Fink, played by Scott Spiegel. Now, he's been in a number of things, most notably Robot Ninja. Now, obviously they're psychos, but we do find out what they do with the people they kill.
They'll make a fine leather jacket.
Before we find out that the mom wants to be called Daddy.
And I told you to call me Daddy, you shithead!
Then the dead guy wakes up and falls out of the van, where Fink shoots him, apparently ruining his skin, even though the big machete hole was fine, I guess. So they dump him in a cornfield. Their van breaks down, and they bring it to Tom to fix. He says it will take a couple of days, but they offer him a chunk of cash, and he says he'll have it running by the morning. Then he offers to let them stay at his house because...
Are there any motels in this rat hole of a town?
There was the Bates place. That closed down years ago.
And also because why not? They're complete strangers. Then we meet Tom's wife, Winnie, played by Barbara Katz-Norrod. She wasn't in Robot Ninja, but she was in The Dead Next Door, so, she's got that going for her. Oh, okay, so she wants to be called Daddy, and she can't walk, but she can crawl, so that's where the name Crawl Daddy comes from. Well, that's kind of on the nose, isn't it? Also, that name is on par with Tuna and Small Paul from the Ice Cream Man. These two go outside while Tom is mowing, and this delivery guy shows up with a set of knives for Winnie, and Crawl Daddy... Jesus, this name... Crawl Daddy decides to test them out, and this guy drives away. Then this dude shows up, and...
Are you happy with your life?
Ah, Jesus.
So she's not so good at keeping a low profile, which you'd think you'd be an expert at, you know, if you're a mass murderer. Then Violet takes out the delivery guy. We get more backstory about Paul and his soon-to-be ex-wife, but this storyline is almost completely unnecessary, so moving on. Now, normally I would find something in this movie to compare to another movie that I've done a review on, so I could put a link up here to have you go watch that. But I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to say outright. After you finish this, go watch my review for The Chill Factor. That's pretty good, and you should definitely watch it. That's all. Paul goes to get some boxes from Tom's basement, and when he does, he sees what Violet has been working on, which is fairly creepy. Violet tells him it's artwork before hitting on him, which he refuses. Paul's soon-to-be ex-wife shows up, which no one will care about. I think this is to give his character some depth, because we find out that he's an ex-cop and that she's been banging her lawyer. But you don't watch movies like this for character depth, so moving on. Next we see
Crawdaddy man.
eating dinner with Tom and Winnie, and the way she's eating reminds me of flesh-eating mothers. See? I just did it there. Now you can go check that out. Pretty clever, huh? And while they're eating upstairs, the kids are downstairs getting ready to do some skinning when the guy Daddy shot comes to, and then we get a good amount of gore. They act out some ceremony while Fink is cutting into the guy, and I will say that you can tell that this is fake, but for the budget, these are actually some pretty decent special effects. Fink proceeds to cut off some parchment, then we get the missing element from this movie: incest. Well, I mean, attempted incest anyways. After some awkward foreplay, can you imagine what it must have been like to film this scene? Okay, so the fake skin's on my face, and then I put the glasses on. Got it. Anyways, they try to get started, but Fink gets caught up in her bra, and it ruins the mood for him.
The hell is like this thing?
Tom lets them borrow his truck after they drop him off to work on their van. As they are driving, Fink confesses that he forgot to remove a body from their van, and Crawdaddy starts beating his head, which causes him to hit this poor bastard just trying to enjoy his cheese puffs. And of course they drive off. While Tom is working on the van, he smells something terrible, and when he investigates, he finds the hitchhiker's body. He bails just as the crazies show up, and we get this shot. Winnie decides to offer Violet some dinner, and when she goes downstairs, she finds that this guy still isn't fucking dead. Like I said, over-the-top gore. You know, for killing people for a living, they sure suck at actually killing them. What? No, these lights were on the whole time. I didn't forget to put them back on after doing the intro. No, that's crazy talk. They've been up the whole time. So, moving on. Violet hits Winnie with a machete, which causes her to run away, and Violet chases after. Winnie goes to Paul's house and yells for help, but Paul decides to wait on helping until Winnie gets murdered. Then the rest of the family shows up, and Paul goes inside and gets weaponized. Crawdaddy calls dibs on killing him, but it takes a while for her to get there, you know, because of the crawling. We also see that Tom is still alive. Like I said, they are terrible at actually killing people. Then Crawl hits her kryptonite, a locked outer door. Paul comes out and she says that he's too much of a pussy to actually shoot her. Then he shoots the ever-living shit out of her. Before he shoots Fink. Paul brings Tom inside, who faints, and Paul goes into the basement to get him a blanket.
Ah, fuck!
And then he finds out that Violet got inside. They have a knife fight before Paul cuts to the chase. Then he finishes the job. He goes upstairs and we see that Fink is still alive. Of course he is. And they proceed to fight for a long time. Like, a very long time, over multiple locations. Fink takes out Paul's knees. Look at me. He's the Crawdaddy now. Paul finds his gun and shoots Fink. Then he's finally dead. Jesus Christ. Okay, so Fink Zombie comes after Paul before he gets blown away and actually finally dies. Paul crawls back inside as Tom is waking up, but because of the head trauma, Tom thinks Paul is
Crawdaddy.
And shoots him. So he's dead, and that's how the movie ends. And now for some fun facts. Scott Spiegel, or Fink, went to high school with Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. The population of Ridgeway, Ohio is 343. That's where this supposedly took place. Roughly 65% of leather comes from cows, but it can also come from pigs, goats, alligator, and ostrich, to name a few. This movie has a bit of swearing in it. I counted 71 cuss words, 33 of which were the F-bomb. With an 80-minute runtime, that averages out to someone swearing every 1.13 minutes.
Holy fucking shit! You fucking idiot! You fat crippled butt fuck! Get me the fuck away from this chunk of shit!
What an asshole.
That's a fuck ton of swearing. So, would I recommend Skinned Alive?
Get the fuck out!
Like I said at the beginning, there's a very small number of people who will actually like this movie, for all the reasons the rest of us don't. The acting isn't great, the plot is pretty weak, and the gore is over the top, although some of the effects are actually okay considering the budget. To give credit, there were some funny parts, and Spiegel overall does a decent job. Tom does too for the most part, but it still sucks. I mean, it definitely feels like a bunch of friends just got together and wanted to make a horror movie, but they didn't actually know how to make it scary, so they just decided to go for a gross out factor. I mean, yeah, you could argue movies like this help the industry because they're trying, you know, and not everything has to be a big budget. Because, I mean, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that wasn't a big budget either, but it's different. You know, that had production quality, had great music, the acting was good, cinematography was fantastic. This, definitely not. I mean, it's a whole different level for this one. But if you do want to watch it, hey, I mean, different strokes for different folks, you know? I'll put a link up where you can check it out for free, at least at the time I recorded this. I'm curious to hear if any of you actually have seen this or liked it, so let me know in the comments. In my last review, I looked at Edge of the Axe, so I'll put a link up for that so you can check that out too. Alright, well, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.